for me, personally, it is knowing my value and my worth. And for me, that comes from God. And so there's nothing that I can't do or do to make me not worthy of certain things. But because I'm worthy, I'm also worthy to be healthy. I'm worthy to meet these goals. I'm able and capable to do the things that He's put on my heart.
All right, we're out. Yeah. Just talk a little mess. But let's go ahead and bring my big little sister on here. What? Oh, there she go.
Mhm.
What it going on? How you living today, Mrs. Wesley?
I'm doing good today. Today is a good day. I'm
Nice.
glad to be here.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So first off, are we your first podcast appearance? And
I think so.
let's go.
Um, I think so. Woo!
First,
Y'all hear
first
my
of
cherry.
many.
Yay.
Okay. First of many right here. But for the folks that don't know, if you don't mind giving a who you are, your profession, and who is Anisa the Friend.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Anisa, aka my Instagram handle, Anisa the Friend. I'm a woman. I'm a social worker. I'm a therapist. I'm, you know, just a person who's out here trying to encourage others and, do the things that God put on my heart. So
Mm,
that's a little bit about
love
me.
it. Yeah, love it. We gonna get into some more stuff for sure. But I think what something that you've been really adamant about for years now is mental health, right? And we see that in your profession as a therapist. We see that in your Instagram posts. They're very soothing. I don't know if that's the right
Mhm.
word, but they're usually pouring into folks when it comes to mental health and self love. So as a professional, whatever you're allowed to share, as a professional, what are some of the mental health trends that you're just seeing out there in the world with everything going on today?
Right now, there's a lot of grief, like just grieving, whether it's a death, whether it's like a loss or a transition, like losing a job or something like that, where it's just like people need help with being able to adjust to like a new life. A lot of anxiety, a lot of
Mm,
depression right now. And, right now I'm seeing kind of like both sides of the spectrum because as a therapist, I see both adults and adolescents. And then as a psychiatric social worker um, at a school district, I see a lot of what the children like from ages even 5 to like 17, 18 are going through. And it's a pretty similar trend. A lot of people are just over like, being cooped up in the
so,
house, Zoom, or just even like the mask, like it's just something that people are getting a little bit weary about. So a lot of that is going on right now is what I'm seeing mostly.
yeah. So what would be your general, not this is not a professional's opinion per se. I want to put you on the spot and have people be like, well, the professional said this, but in just
Right.
your opinion, people are adjusting to Zoom as they're trying to, deal with their oppression and anxiety. What are just a few tangible things that they can do to, kind of self mediate some of those things?
Well, I think one of the main things is to be gentle with yourself. And that's really something I'm practicing too. Like, I don't tell any of my clients or anybody anything that I don't already do. So, but, just being gentle with yourself, taking those breaks when needed, like being someone that works at home, I have to like schedule breaks. And even if it's just 2 minutes to breathe, like, all right, I'm done with this meeting. Let me just breathe really quick and get in touch with myself. I think that's important. And then remembering that, like, you're not alone, like literally the whole world, if not the whole country, is dealing with similar things. So, holding on to that, because sometimes it can feel really lonely. That's another thing I didn't mention. People are feeling very alone because even though Zoom is great, social media is a good tool, it's not the same as physical connection. And we all need that. I feel like we were all like, you know, born with that need of physical connection. So, um, if people can get together with people if they feel comfortable, I would suggest that too, like filling your like social cup, so to speak. Um, but because I mean, you can still do phone calls and text and everything, but there's nothing like getting together in person when it's safe. So
Right.
yeah.
So two quick things. A random one is I think one of the good things possibly about being in this digital space is you can use all types of cool backgrounds and manifest your future. So shout out to that background we were talking
Yes.
about earlier. Put your dream house in the background, put your dream vacation in the background, and really just live in that environment and manifest that for you. I think that's dope. Number two, a blessing. Me and the queen have talked about this, but I want to get your opinion. Being able to get and be married before pandemic, or be in a committed relationship and have your best friend in the house, have your road dog in the house, and yeah, you're trapped in the house, or you can't go many places, but you have someone, right? And you're able to still get that physical connection. Can you talk just about? I know you're semi newly married, Mrs. Wesley in the building. You know what I'm talking about. Talk a little about just the experience of being married in a pandemic.
Whew, that's a big one.
Mm,
I feel like it's our normal, if that makes sense, because we haven't known anything else as a married couple. Of course, when we were dating and everything, things were a lot different. But, just being married in the pandemic, you either have to know that you know that you know that you with the right person, because spending extended amount of times with someone, you have to at least like them, right? So I'm like, well, I guess we did good in getting to know each other and, like building that foundation of a bond that is deeper than just, like attraction or whatever. So I don't know. I think it also kind of like I'm thinking. I was just telling Iron today. I was like, I feel like I want to do something else, like a vow renewal in a few years or something, because I feel like even though we had a wedding, you guys were there, but I feel like we were missing something, and I don't know what that was, but it was like it was just different, So and I don't know when that's gonna be, but I just think that making sure that we knew each other was the most.
Listen, I know you were spitting hot fire,
Hot
Anissa.
fire.
I felt it. I heard it. People out there heard it. We're gonna bring you back in a second because your audio was kind of going a little bit in and out. But anyone who's watching live or watching on the replay, go ahead and let us know what was your experience within the pandemic, and what are some of the practical things that you were able to do to kind of mediate your experience, right? Whatever it was, whether it was anxiety, it was depression, feeling cooped up, feeling like you need to interact with more people. What are some of the ways? I know for me, I was on YouTube listening to podcasts and kind of just with my headphones on or in the car, and that made me feel like I was in kind of a group, right? In a room full of people talking, and that kind of gave me a little bit of the social cues in there. But Queen, how about you? Anything in particular before we try to bring Anisa back on?
Yeah, definitely. I think I did try like a podcast specifically with like a group of women. And I listened to that one, and it's like, no, you don't actively get to participate in the conversation, but you're thinking about, how you would respond in that situation. So it's almost like you're having a conversation, and you do kind of, in a way, it's not the same, but you do in a way feel like you're with them, like, oh, y'all are just having a conversation. So that was helpful. And I think, and I'll probably say this again when we get Anissa back, but I think one good thing too is, even if you all have, you are lucky to have someone who you really vibe with in the same house. I think still having some time to yourselves is also important. So like when at least before you would go play basketball with your friends and your family. I think having even just a walk, like, sometimes we like to take walks together, but every now and then I'll get up and I'll take a walk by myself just to have just some time to myself.
Yeah, she'd be like, I'm out. I'm like, well, where you going? Gone.
Doses. Yeah, just have a little bit of time to myself. And even when we do work together, I think having the separate spaces is nice. Just because you can easily come and knock on the door whenever you want and say hi or whatever. But it is nice to also have a little bit of time to yourself. So whatever way you can, even if it's just stepping outside in the backyard or going on a walk around the block, important to get that time to yourself as well.
100%. Great nugget, Queen. All right, let's see if we can bring Anisa back on to continue to drop some gems. There she is. Welcome back, Miss Wesley.
Hello.
Let's do a mic test. How's that audio feeling?
I don't know.
You're
How's it
still over
sound?
there talking to ETIC.
Talking to a robot.
So the question that I want to give to you is, how do you stay consistent with your goals? Right, that is something that we want to talk about and really dive into today, as we talk about marathon mentality, as we talk about walking as being a great tool and resource, a way of burning fat, visceral fat.
I see.
I'm paying attention sometimes. Oh, can you talk to us a little bit about maybe a goal that you either currently have or that you had, and how you were able to fight past all the barriers and stay consistent to achieve that goal, Anisa?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Can you hear me now? Can you? Oh, hello.
We can hear you a little bit. It is still a little robotic, a little bit, but we're going to try to rock with you. If you do have multiple devices on your Wi-Fi, highly suggest you take those devices off. Fun fact, right? If you're out there, you're zooming, you're doing your thing, you have a few kids out there, you have your phone, you have your tablet, you have your TV, you have your computer, you have all those devices connected to one Wi-Fi, it's going to slow down your Wi-Fi across all the devices, right? So take off a few. That way, the one that you're focusing on can really have the best speed. And that translates to what we're talking about today, because sometimes we have 5, 6, 7, 8 goals.
Right.
All those goals, all those things you're trying to accomplish are attached to you. You're the Wi-Fi, right? You're the Wi-Fi. Each goal is a device. And the more devices that you attach to yourself, the lower the bandwidth is going to each of these goals, right? So how can you make sure that if you're the Wi-Fi, you're the plug, you're the energy, you have as few devices connect to you as possible, as focused as possible? That way you can achieve your goals and have the fastest speeds. Okay.
I feel like the way to think about it is that you have a finite amount of energy, that you can give each day. And although there are ways to kind of recharge, still in a given day, you have a set amount of energy that you're going to be able to give. So whatever you are working on is going to divide that amount of energy, depending on your amount of projects. So if you have 5 things you're working on today, then you're basically able to give 20% to each of those things, right? And I feel like in the world of like motivation, we like to say like, oh, you give 100% to each thing. It's like, that's nice. It's not possible. It's really not physically possible to give 100% to 5 different things, right? So think about like, okay, if I'm if I have 3 things to do today, think about like the amount of energy you have. You have about a third of your energy to go towards each of those, right? Is that going to be, and sometimes that's enough, right? If I'm just doing like an Instagram post, I don't need that much energy to be to go towards that. But right, if it's a day where I know we got a podcast, then I need to make sure I'm not going to put a webinar on that day because I know my social energy, and I'm gonna be on this podcast like,
What he
yeah,
said.
word. Because I know myself, right? So I think it's just a matter of really being strategic about how you plan out each day and how you divide up your energy for the different tasks that you have
Yeah.
going on.
So I don't know who came up with this formal term, but it's called the Law of Diminishing Returns.
Mm.
Right? And that literally says that the more things that you're committed to, and this is for investments, this is for your goals, this is for like the more things that you're committed to, the less return you're going to get from each thing
Right.
and overall. Right? The law of diminishing returns. And this is really something I'm focusing on this year. It's very difficult, Queen. I'm gonna let you know right now.
I know.
Jair, it is very difficult, but I'm working through it this year to see how can I get more focused and where my energy is going? How can I partner with more people? How can I delegate more so that the overall returns are better? Okay. Um, we're gonna bring Anisa back on here. Oh yeah, you moving. Oh yeah, you shaking. Go ahead. You got anything you want to add to that?
I was agreeing with what you guys were saying. But yeah, I think that consistency is easily said. It's like more easily said than done,
Mhm.
because, you have those days where you don't have a lot of motivation. And I feel like for me, I'm learning to push through that. So, learning that I have to be disciplined if I want to see results, and that's in anything. So, for me, recently, I was talking to Sinclair about it on our call, but I started like walking and focusing more on my health and
Yeah.
and instead, like literally, I was so happy when you said that walking burned fat because then I was able to tell Iron, like, look, I'm doing something. So, you know,
I'm doing
so
something.
because he's like, that's not working out. And I'm like, it's good, it's healthy.
Mhm.
But now I had like a professional tell me that it was doing something.
Oh, yep.
But but that was my goal for that was my goal, and I started more consistently in October, like taking longer walks, focusing more on like what I was eating and consuming in general, like ears, eyes, all that. It's all consumption, right? So I was trying to just be more healthy, and I've seen such a big difference. I've lost weight, of course, and I'm happy
Yeah.
about that. But I've also noticed I'm stronger, like mentally, spiritually. So those are the little things that you're able to do consistently. They help to like really boost your confidence too, because then you're like, well, if I can do that, then I can do this every day or every other day. Something that I'm also being more gentle with myself about is I like to go full speed in and like go super hard and like do an hour of something all the time. And because I want to do that. That makes me feel good. But I'm learning like, okay, well, if I want to pick up journaling, I can do 2 to 5 minutes a day, or 2 to 5 minutes every other day. And that's still beneficial. And it's building a habit up instead of like trying to like, oh, I'm about to journal for an hour every single day. And then now I'm burnt out from journaling. Or if I mess up, now I'm being hard on myself. So it was just kind of like a mind shift where it's like even a little bit is okay as long as you're consistent.
Yes.
So that's,
The
I guess. Mhm.
sorry, no, you can keep going.
No, I think that was it. That was my full thought. I think what I wanted to share on that, what I'm learning myself. So
Yeah. I wanted to go back to what you said about you're trying to be more disciplined. And it reminded me of a phrase, or I don't, and we all know all these phrases. I don't know where this comes from. It's a meme, it's a phrase. I've heard it probably a million times, but
Yeah.
the phrase like discipline kicks in when motivation runs out. And I think that that is
mm,
really important when you're talking about a marathon because I think I don't know if people would like assume that like marathon runners actually want to run the whole marathon. Like at some point, I'm sure they're like, I'm tired. I want to stop, right? But they talk themselves into continuing to go, right? Continuing to run. They tap into their training. And I think that it's important for you to identify how you're going to stay disciplined, what keeps you disciplined, right? Because motivation is definitely important. And I think that I love what Et says about motivation. Like, yes, motivation runs out, or yes, you have to he compares it to like brushing your teeth. Like, yeah, your way you brush your teeth, that runs out too, and your breath starts to smell, and that's why you brush your teeth every day. So find something that motivates you every day, because motivation does run out. But I think it's also important to identify for yourself what keeps you disciplined, right? If it's an accountability partner, if it's some types of reward system that you define for yourself, just figure out what is going to keep you disciplined when you don't feel like it. Because I think that, especially as, I don't always like to group us together as millennials, but something that I do, see or hear a lot on social media is like just kind of going with the flow and doing whatever you feel like doing that day. And in some ways or shapes and forms, that's okay. But if you have a goal you're trying to reach, you can't rely strictly on your emotions, because your emotions are not going to want to get up and do anything every day. So I think it's important to identify what is, if it's putting your goal on the wall, creating a vision board, what are those things that are going to keep you disciplined on the days when you don't feel like it, because you still got to get it done.
Good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's really good. And I was just listening, like, what motivates me? But I definitely think having something that like fills your cup and makes you remember like why you're doing it is important. Because I think that's what's been keeping me. It's like remembering why I'm doing it. Like I want to have healthy children. I want to be able to walk upstairs and not get out of breath. Like it's important to remember like why, even when you don't feel like it. Because there's days when I definitely don't feel like it. And I'm sure you guys have that as entrepreneurs, but honestly, most days I don't feel like it, if I'm honest. but it's all right. So yeah.
Yeah, so I liked what kind of the queen was saying a little bit with tapping into your training, and a little bit what you were saying about I'm doing this for my kids, right? And I think for me at this point, it's gotten to a time where when I don't put in work, it feels awkward. Like on days where I'm not working, on days where I'm just sitting around, it feels like something's literally missing. And like I'll talk to the queen about that. Like even when we're on vacation, right? We'll be in Mexico, we'll be in Thailand, we'll be in Italy, wherever we're blessed to go for the time. And if I'm not doing stuff, I'm like, dang, like what? Like it just feels like something's missing during the day. But I think that goes to the tapping into your training, right? So a marathon runner, they train, they run 28 miles, they run 30 miles, so that when it's time to kick in, when it's time to actually run the race, stopping feels weird because it's like I don't stop. I run 28 miles, I run 30 miles. When I stop, it's going against my subconscious mind. I feel like that's the hard thing with fighting your emotions to what your dreams are, is in order to get to your dreams, I think you have to defeat your subconscious mind. You have to retrain your subconscious
defeat.
mind.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, no, I think it is. And when we think about, Anisa said earlier, we're constantly consuming music, Instagram, movies. All of those are messages that are being ingrained into our subconscious mind. Not all of those messages are positive. Not all of those messages are going to help us get to our dreams. So I think for a large majority of us to get to where we truly want to be, we needed to defeat all of the messages that have been ingrained in our subconscious mind since we were born all the way to now. We need to fight a lot of those things in order to become the person that we want to be.
Yeah.
And that's my frame. The queen has a different frame. You go.
No, I just wanted to be mindful of the word, I think, defeat. just because there are, like you said, maybe the negative thoughts, right? You do, and I guess I like the word overcome better. You know, because I think defeat make it sounds like you're against yourself, which in some ways you are. In some ways, you're fighting yourself a little bit, right? The negative thoughts. But I think like just overcoming, right, the things that are pulling you away from where you want to go is essentially, I'm not disagreeing with you, just fluffing it up a little bit, I guess. Right. You have to overcome those thoughts, those tendencies, those if you think about like this reminds me of physics, right? An object in motion stays in motion, an object at rest stays at rest, right? So if you are at rest and you're trying to get in motion, you are fighting against physics. You are fighting against yourself because you're going to want to stay exactly where you're at, right? But to your point on the marathon runners, right? They train themselves to keep going, right? They get comfortable where they're comfortable just running, right? And it's hard
to
for
a
them
point
to stop.
where a marathon runner when you see them walking because they walk
Right.
a certain way.
Yeah.
My bad.
But no, either way, right? It's and for you, right? You are a go type of person, so it feels weird for you to stop. It feels it's literally fighting against your inner self because you're used to waking up and doing something every single day. So being on vacation and just taking a break is against your nature, and you're fighting yourself, right? So that's why we've come up with the compromise to let you do a little work in the wee hours of the morning. But yeah, I think that it's important to just identify, right? What are you fighting? What thoughts are in your head? Is it that you're trying to get going? Like what are the thoughts pulling you back, and how are you going to overcome them? I think that that's like the constant battle of like of healing, of progressing, of growth. I think there's that constant battle of you have those moments when you're like catapulting forward and you're like, oh, okay, this feels good. Let's go. And then you have those days when it's like, oh, I don't feel it today. I don't want to do that. Nope. I'm not getting out of bed. Right. But you still got to get out of bed. So I think it's like, what are the thoughts that you're fighting, and how do you, because it's going to be different for everybody, how do you overcome them? Is it taking action? Sometimes it's just like, okay, if I put my feet, swing them over and get out the bed, then the rest will come. Is it motivational thoughts? Is it words of affirmation? Like, what is it telling yourself? Like, I'm a strong, confident woman and I can get up and conquer the day. Like, is that what gets you going? Like, figure out what that thing is going to be for you, and just keep that in the back of your mind. Keep it in your back pocket.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to Anisa the Friend, right? Definitely go make sure y'all go follow at Anisa the Friend. Get yourself some good affirmations in there. But for you, what is the connection between self-worth, confidence, self-love, just like how you see yourself, and achieving your dreams, right? Whether it's your personal connection or just kind of your thought around it in general. What's the link between those two?
So let me see. Let me hear your question one more time so I can process it.
I got you, right? Remix it real quick. But when you think of self-confidence and self-worth, how does that connect to you being able to achieve your goals? You being able to say, I'm going to walk once a week and actually walk once a week. You being able to say, I'm going to wake up at 7 a.m. and read for 5 minutes every day and actually get up and read for 5 minutes every single day. How is that goal connected to your own kind of self-image and self-worth?
Oh, okay. I think I processed it now. So I think that for me, personally, it is knowing my value and my worth. And for me, that comes from God. And so there's nothing that I can't do or do to make me not worthy of certain things. But because I'm worthy, I'm also worthy to be healthy. I'm worthy to meet these goals. I'm able and capable to do the things that He's put on my heart. And so I feel like the connection is kind of like knowing that not only can I encourage others to, be confident and feel good about themselves, but I can do that for myself too, and I'm worthy of that. So I think the overarching thing for me is remembering that I'm worthy and I'm enough, and that these goals are not something that is harming me, but they're actually helping me to get to where I want to be. So I think, does that answer your question?
It does.
Mhm.
No, love it. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Queen, got anything?
I think it's just uh basically very similar, but rephrasing slightly. I think it's like rem- realizing, I think the connection is realizing that you deserve your
Mm-hmm.
right, whatever your goal you're trying to accomplish, it is realizing and constantly reminding yourself that you deserve that. I think
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes we all have our flaws, right? We all have our things that we're working through. And I think sometimes we allow those in our head, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, we allow those to be the reason that we don't deserve the life of happiness, the beautiful family, the house, the car, whatever that thing is for you, right? I think we again, subconsciously or consciously will tell ourselves that that's why we don't deserve it. And I think that it's important to remind ourselves, right, of all the reasons why we do, right? Because I'm a child of God,
Mm,
because I'm a strong woman, because
mm,
I'm a good person, right?
mm,
Because I get up every day and I try to make the world a better place. I deserve exactly what is coming, coming toward to me.
mhm.
So I think that that's the link for me, at least, is the reminding myself that, like, okay, yeah, you got your flaws, as does every other person in the world. So what makes X person deserve it more than you, right? Why do
Exactly.
they deserve it and you don't? You are constantly trying to improve yourself, and that's why you deserve to live the life you want.
Yeah. You know,
Here we go.
I agree with y'all, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of folks that use the word deserve, and they think that deserve is absence of the work.
Mm,
Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I deserve this because not directly at you, because I'm a good person, because I woke up today, because I'm a great melanated king," but then they're not actually willing to do like those small steps. So I would say the deserving and the self-love, self-worth should definitely be backed up with what are those small tangible habits that you can do to get to that end goal as well, right? And understanding that it may take 6 months, it may take 6 years, but being able to stay committed to that process. And what I love about the content that you're posting, Anisa, is one, it seems like it's just really, really positive stuff, positive affirmations. I don't know if you want to kind of just talk through a little bit of how you started like coming up with that type of content and what the reception has been like in the comments, or just how it feels for you to read your own posts and maybe get your own motivation from something that you wrote yesterday, but you're seeing it on your feed today. But I love how your post is like pouring into people's cup and really having them, yeah, just affirm themselves.
Well, I mean, I decided to change it a few months ago, like late last year, and I really just I feel like I've been put here to encourage people. Like that sounds simple and it's deep, but simply for now, I'm an encourager. It's what I do in therapy, is what I do in my other job, and it's just like I need that because I give so much of it. But I also feel like there's so many people out there, especially in the social media world, who are, like you were saying, Devon, consuming things that aren't necessarily healthy. And so if I can be the positive thing that you see, or sometimes, I'm learning something. And so I share what I've learned and what I've experienced. And I feel like our experiences can be a roadmap for someone else's like success or healing. So I'm just like, if I keep all of the stuff that I'm learning and what's working for me to myself, then that's selfish. So I'm trying to, be able to give someone else um, that motivation that they need. And then, like you said, sometimes I read, like, remember what you said, like,
Mm,
remember what I said. And so I need to read it over again and remind myself of, these affirmations and, these things that I am filling other people with that I fill myself with also. So I think that that's kind of where I'm coming from and what the main goal is. And of
Mhm.
course, I would, I talked to you a little bit about it, but I want to kind of add to it and, put books and stuff out there and all other
Uh,
kind of things. So it's a work in progress. I would say that I'm learning as I grow, but
yeah.
I really feel like it's something I enjoy. Like it's something that I enjoy doing, and it's something that comes almost, well, pretty naturally to me. Like whenever I feel like, oh, well, I don't know, maybe I'll just take I don't have anything else to say, and then something else comes. So I just feel like it's a natural thing for me, and the responses that I get to answer that part of the question, like I get really positive feedback that, like you were saying, is very positive. It's helpful for some people. They're like, "Oh my gosh, what you posted! I needed that." Like, how are you reading my journal? Is what I've heard. Like, how do you know my life? And I'm just like, you know, it's not me, it's God using me. But so I think that's really, as I'm figuring out, what I'm where I'm going
Mm,
and what I'm doing, it's helping people. And that's my goal. That's my goal, is to encourage. If I can just make someone else feel like they're not alone, then that that means the world to me. So
yeah. I love that. And I think you're making good content when people are like, how do you know my life? Right? Are
Right.
you reading my journal? I feel like that's how you know you're making like really good content that's speaking directly to people. So huge congrats on that, sis, for sure. Um,
thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah, of course. So getting into our last segment in here, the Ask Declare segment. This is your opportunity to ask us any question around our relationship journey, business journey, or health journey. So we'll open it up to you. Any question that you got, sis, go ahead, fire away.
So my question would be, um, what, and I feel like I may have asked something similar, but what how do you balance? I feel like Devon kind of answered his, but how do you both balance, like, not working all the time? Because I'm finding, like, as I'm becoming more of a creator, like in all these things, 2 in the morning, I have something that I want to think about and write down.
Mm.
And it's like, yeah. So I'm
Okay.
just, like, how do you balance your creativity just sparking and being able to kind of like put that away for a little bit and just put it, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of what I'm, as I'm coming into this creativity thing, because I never felt like I was creative or a creator until
Huh.
recently. And I'm like, I actually enjoy this. Oh my gosh, let me stay up and do this. And so it's good, but it's also like, okay, well, I got work. I got to do these notes. And so how do you balance that?
Yeah, great question. Queen, you go first. Keep in mind we got a photo shoot we gotta go to. So I know you got a lot of wisdom, but go do you
Um, I think it's just setting boundaries for yourself.
think? Mhm.
So we need to get better at abiding to them. But at some point, we did implement work hours, where we said
Mhm.
8 a.m. to 8 p.m. is the time frame where we're working, and that outside of that, right, we'd give ourselves a little leeway. Like we can say like, oh, tomorrow can we work on this? Or what we started to do is like when we have something coming, and this is more in the beginning, just be like, oh, you know what, I did have something, but I'm gonna write it down, and then like set an alert or something for yourself the next day to bring it up, just so that you can just give yourself some downtime. That has been very helpful. So I think that even for yourself, like that would that might be helpful. It's like, okay, so I can, you know, I do my full-time job from this hour to this hour, and then I do my creating from this hour to this hour. After that, if you have something that sparks, you know, you can maybe do a voice memo or do a video real quick so you don't lose the creative juices, but maybe not actually like fully create or post it or anything like that until, you know, the next time you have your available work hours. And I think that that is good for time. It's good for mental, you know, your mental health, your, you know, just maintaining anxiety or keeping your anxiety at bay. But I think it's also good for just your mind, to start to recognize when it's time to create, when it's time to, you know, be in that mode, and then when it's time to kind of just relax. I think after a while, it does take some time, but I think after a while, you can also kind of start to train your brain on like, okay, these are creative hours, let's go. And like, okay, let's relax, let's chill. So
Yeah.
that would probably be my biggest recommendation.
Yes. The only thing I would add to that, as everybody knows, I struggle a lot with not working, but I do like when I'm sleep. Right. And we do some pretty good kind of sleep hours whereby 10, 11 at the latest, like I'm really knocking out. And then I wake up around 6, sometimes a little bit earlier. And then from there it's work time, right? But my sleep time is really, really sacred to me because I don't get too much of it. So when I'm asleep, I'll sleep. So I would say go ahead and set yourself a curfew. The queen has said before that some of the best sleep you're going to get due to circadian rhythms, you know what I'm saying, are gonna be from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So you really want to try to get as much sleep as possible during this time because that's your deep sleep, that's your restoration period. That's when your brain's able to dream and grab ideas from the universe that you're not able to get while you're awake. So even in, you know, it kind of benefits you to be sleep during that time too, just for creative purposes and for your businesses as well. So when you can, I know some people have crazy work hours, but if you're able to, try to be sleep by 10, from 10 to 2. Right?
Okay.
But yeah, thanks for that question. We be trying. We be trying.
Yes.
Um, but as we close out, Anisa, tell us a little bit about what you want to do with Anisa the Friend. Tell folks where they can follow you, although they should know by now it's at Anisa the Friend right there on the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, appreciate you. But yeah, let them know a little bit about, you know, the future and the vision of where you're going with Anisa the Friend, whatever you would like to share.
Okay. Well, my heart is writing. So that's why they're pretty much, I call them blog oceanals, like a blog and a devotional in one.
Mhm.
And so, you know, that is kind of the direction that I'm going. I'm sharing my life, I'm sharing my journey, and I'm just encouraging others through my writing. Journaling's a passion for me. I'm about to turn it into some books and, you know, whatever else comes from that. But, you know, I am taking it one day at a time, one step at a time, and you know, really learning how to do social media because I mean, Anisa the Friend, my page is on Instagram. So that's where you can find me. And soon I'll be doing like an email list where I'll be sending out devotionals, and then that will turn into, you know, where you can find the books and the actual handheld devotional or ebook. So um, I mean, that is where I'm at right now. And ask me in a couple months, and maybe I'll give you a more in depth answer. So,
You know, absolutely, I will ask you next time. But we appreciate you for coming on, dropping some gems for us, and sharing a little bit of the vision of the Anisa the Friend. Definitely make sure we're going. I mean, not make sure we connect, but launch it. As you know, I'm trying to help people launch their business, write their book. So we go connect.
mhm.
Queen, updates you got for the week? Hit them.
So we do have the Queen to Queen weight loss program popping. So definitely make sure you check that out at queen2queencoaching.com. You can book your free discovery call there. And really, I'm just trying to help the queens like myself who've been trying to lose weight. Maybe you've tried and you gained the weight back. I've been there. You know, you don't know what to eat. You don't know what workouts to do. Let me help you. That's what I do. So definitely check out Queen to Queen coaching.com, and that is where you can book your free 30-minute discovery call. And that's just where we talk about what are your goals and can I help you. So you got nothing to lose except 30 minutes of your life. So go ahead and book your call. And they also have a free webinar available. We just had that last week, the live webinar, 5 things every woman should know about weight loss. So definitely check that out. You can find it on our YouTube channel. You can find it on my Instagram, The Health Nerd with 3 E's. And you can, in the link in my bio, you can find that there as well.
Beautiful. Queen to Queen popping. On this side, of course, make sure y'all go to playblackwallstreet.com, get yourself a board game. Black History Month is right around the corner. If you're looking for a gift to give to a friend, a teacher, your family, playblackwallstreet.com, got your back. Get yourself a board game today. We've been, doing some good outreach to school districts and school conferences. So we got some cool partnerships in the works, more to come for sure. And of course, we are working on the Launch It 7 Steps to Launch Your Business book. That is almost done. Ordered my author copies Thursday or Friday. Days blur together because I just be working. But order my author copies. Those are going to be here soon. Thank you for everyone who gave feedback on the cover, on the colors, on the icons to use. Shout out to the 40 people that submitted the form and let us know about their goals. Anisa, you were one of those people. I appreciate you. And we're hosting our accountability calls every Friday at 7 a.m. So if you would like to come through, definitely feel free to come through with your ideas. Whew. All right. It's a good one. Indeed. Marathon mentality. Anisa, marathon mentality. Keep going. We believe in you on this side. We love you on this side. And we can't wait.
Too. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you, amazing listeners and watchers, for tuning in to another amazing episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we shall live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
I'm Sinclair, aka The Health Nerd.
Make sure y'all stay healthy. Make sure y'all stay mentally wealthy. Of course, make sure y'all stay true.
Thank you for tuning in to the True Health Forever podcast. We hope you learned something valuable that you can take and implement into your life. Now, we've all heard that sharing is caring, and this podcast is no exception. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, a family member, a coworker, a stranger walking down the street, anybody who you think can level up from this message. As always, we appreciate your support, and we'll talk to you next week. Be well.